I'm Mr. McMahon, engineering teacher in Coláiste Ciarán. So what is engineering? Engineering is essentially using many different skills and disciplines such as science, maths, sketching, research, mechanical and CAD drawing as tools to design and manufacture solutions for real world problems. So you're thinking maybe what links would they have with subjects that I have previously done? Well, you have technical graphics, you have technology, metalwork, and woodwork. They would be the practical subjects, but also would have links to art, maths, and science. So maybe you haven't done any of those practical subjects before. That doesn't mean that you won't be able to do engineering if you consider all the things involved. So the career paths that it may take you down. Well, if you went on to college to do an engineering course, that would be predominantly the main courses or maybe some science courses. But the engineering courses, there are a vast amount of them. Aeronautical engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical, and many new courses coming online all the time, especially in the area of renewable energies. If you wanted to go down the route of an apprenticeship, this would be a 4-year run course where you would work in a workshop for maybe a car mechanic, maybe an electrician, maybe you would work in a plant being a diesel mechanic or fitter, and that would take 4 years, and these courses are run by Solace, and you would also have to pass exams in a college phase of that, but it wouldn't be predominantly solely in college. You would be working in workshops and going to and from workshops and colleges. So what would Leaving Cert Engineering consist of? Well, there is an exam, and that is worth 50%, and this takes place in June when all the other Leaving Cert exams take place as well. The project element of the Leaving Cert is worth 25%, and you have to write up a portfolio for that project as well. That normally takes place from October until March of 6th year. You must design and manufacture this project. And then there's also a day practical exam, which is worth the final 25%. This day practical exam takes place in May of 6th year, and it's a 6-hour exam. You do 3 hours, take an hour of a break, and then you complete the final 3 hours. So to break those down further, the 50% state exam, it's 3 hours long. It consists of 6 questions. There are 2 compulsory questions. The first one, question 1A, is 13 general knowledge engineering questions, and you must answer 10 of those 13 questions. Question 1B is on a specialist topic. This specialist topic changes from year to year, but you know what this topic is at the start of 6th year, and you'll do research and create notes to revise for this topic. Finally, then, students must answer 4 of the remaining 7 questions, and these range in topics from welding, mechanisms, machining, including the lathe and milling machine, electronics, plastics, material science, and material testing. So when I was speaking about earlier that other subjects such as maths and science would have a bearing on how well you do in engineering, well, there's a huge crossover from physics and chemistry in a lot of these topics. Plus then if you have done technology, or you have done metalwork, or you have done graphics, technical graphics for the junior cert, there would be a huge amount of crossover in these topics as well, particularly in the area of electronics. So the engineering project that would take place from October until March, you're given a design brief every year, and you have given the example here from the 2018 project, the Polaris car. So you can see the car in red there, and they give you a bit of history on the background of it. It's a 3-wheel vehicle developed in 2015 by Polaris Industries. But you don't go and make that exact car. What you now need to go and do is design your own car with certain specific specification. So specifically, you'll see A, B, C, and D. You're asked for it to be a 3-wheeled, 2-seated car. It must have a propulsion unit. It must include a steering mechanism, and it must include some form of aerodynamical features. But you decide on those aerodynamical features. You decide on what type of a steering system is, because there is many of them. You decide how the propulsion unit is going to work. So is it going to be a simple gear train? Is it going to be a chain and sprocket with a motor attached like you would have on your bike? So you decide and you design all these things. Finally, then, looking at the day practical exam, which we said was a 6-hour exam, there are certain parts of this that you would have made before the 6-hour exam. So if we take the example here from 2014, if you look at part 2, 3 and 7, they would have been made before the exam. So you have a one-page working drawing. The drawing on the left is how you would mark out, and you need to make all the parts exactly as they are on that left-hand drawing. The right-hand drawing shows you how all the parts are assembled together. So at the end, when you've all the parts made, you need to assemble it together, and it must function properly. So we'll see here from the 2010 exam how all those parts were put together, modelled up on our computer-aided drawing SolidWorks. And then in the 2010 exam, you will see how that works from the animation. So it replicates shears that you might see on a hedge cutters. So listening from some students' perspective from 6th year and this year, Callum states that he's a huge interest in coding, and engineering allows him the opportunity to pursue coding and demonstrate his skills in this area. He's going to use a microbit board and use the programming language Python to get his vehicle to work. James says he really enjoys engineering Coláiste Chiaráin because it allows him to use many new technologies and skills, such as using the laser cutter, the 3D printer, and learning to draw with SolidWorks. An example of what SolidWorks can do is seen here next. So you'll see here a part modeled up in 3D. Then that part can be easily converted into a true 2D part. And as James has stated, then once you have this part modeled up in SolidWorks, if you wanted, you could go and 3D print that part, or if it was a simpler 2D part that needed holes and various different curves cut out in it, you could use the laser cutter to cut that out. So I hope this gives you a good idea of what engineering would be like for the Leaving Cert. The main things that you would need in yourself if you were going to take up engineering would be willing to work very hard, being creative, be willing to be able to problem solve, and have a good practical ability. So although some of you might not have done any of the practical subjects in Coláiste Chiaráin, that's not to say that you're not doing it outside of school and that you might be well able to work with your hands. I know in the last number of years, some students who have not done practical subjects have taken this up, and they have all of those 4 attributes there and have still done very, very well in engineering for the Leaving Cert. So I hope to see you in room 13 in the near future. Thanks for listening. Take care.